Hey everyone, Shawn from Buckeye Wedding Expo here. We're going to be talking with Cassidy from Cassidy Alane Photography. She's going to share some tips on choosing your photographer for your wedding. Cassidy, thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Hey, Shawn, it's good to see you.
Nice to see you too. You gave one of the best Buckeye quick tips last year, so no pressure, no pressure.
No pressure. I love this. We're good.
So first, I would like to reintroduce everyone to Cassidy Lane Photography. So tell me more about yourself and about your business.
I am Cassidy with Cassidy Alane Photography, and I am a Cincinnati, Dayton-based local photographer, wedding and portraits. I love to do timeless, true to classic editing style for your photos, and I think these stories behind your wedding day are super important, and I love connecting with everyone and just capturing all the natural bits behind the scenes and things like that.
I love it, and your honesty just shines through in everything. I mean, you brighten up a room, and I think that says a lot, along with your talent. And that's really important when choosing a photographer is having someone that you connect with and that you trust and things like that. So tell everyone about some tips on what you recommend when you're looking at multiple photographers and how do you choose one that best fits.
That's a great question. I think when you're looking for a photographer, the main thing that you should be looking at is one, your style that you will love from years down the road. So, style is super important when trying to figure out a photographer. So, first thing you should look at is how do you want light and airy? Do you want a moodier style? Do you want true and timeless and classic? And then once you figure out what style that you like, you can go further and trying to figure out what photographers offer that style, and then go even further and kind of meet with each of those photographers and kind of be like, oh, this is the personality that I want from my photographer. Because every photographer has a different style, different personality, different kind of brain lake. Um, when they think about how they operate behind the camera and how they operate the wedding day and things like that. So, how one photographer operates can be totally different than one photographer operates, and that might be perfect for you, or it might be perfect for someone else for their wedding day. So,
Yeah. So, and when it comes to how they operate, the wedding industry in general has a lot of people that I will say fly by night. That's a bad term, but not everybody has been in the industry as long as we have, and
mhm.
so you do a lot of things to keep in contact with the client and to build trust along the way. Can you share with everyone some of those things that you do that lets the client know that you're there and you're there for the entire time?
Yeah, so one of the very first things that I do is I think everything is super important to know what you're expecting throughout the whole journey, during the whole process. So when you first book with me, I'll kind of give you kind of a step by step how it looks like from start to finish, and even after the wedding, like from what to expect. So when you first book with me, I will do your timeline right away. That way, you know exactly what to expect on the wedding day, and leading up to the wedding day, you're not wondering like, "Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? What are we doing here? When do we start this?" kind of thing. I want all my couples to feel confident and just like stress-free as possible. So I will be doing check-ins from like the start as soon as you guys book, and just kind of throughout the process be like, "Hey, is there anything I can do to help you? Are there any vendors that you're looking for?" and things like that. Or even just like, hey, anything photography related, or just like planning color wise, like engagement sessions and things like that. Um, and then I will just kind of go through and collect, just like, hey, yeah, we're doing good. Be like, awesome, that's cool. Or if not, if they have questions, we'll go further into it, and I'll make sure whatever they have questions about, that they're feeling great on the wedding day.
And we talked about the things that you do for the timeline, which I thought was very unique. There are considerations that photographers have for the timeline that I never considered. Can you share with everyone some of those considerations as far as lighting and the timing goes of when events happen?
Yeah. So as soon as you, of course, when a couple books with me, I will plan the timeline right away. And of course, it's not set in stone or anything, because you're often when a couple books with me is a year down the road, 2 years down the road, or even a couple months down the road before the wedding day. But this is just, I think, is super important that when a couple gets their timeline right away, they can help share it with the other vendors of the wedding day. And the other vendors can be like, oh, the couple's doing first look at this time. We need to make sure that like hair and makeup needs to be done by this time and things like that. Um, and then so one of the important things is lighting on the wedding day. So if you're gonna do like a first look, um, you want to make sure that you have enough lighting throughout the day. And or if you're not doing a first look, I always like to say, hey, you're hiring me for my style, the natural light. And normally I love to shoot outside and things like that. So if you're going to have, for example, a 6 p.m. ceremony, a Catholic ceremony, maybe in the middle of December, and you're not doing a first look, but you want those just married photos, you're not going to have any natural lighting photos after the ceremony. So I always love to let my couples know, be like, hey, if you're not going to do a first look, you're not going to get natural light photos after the ceremony. We can still go inside and get like your indoor photos. It's just not going to look like what you see all over my social media and my galleries and things like that. So I always love to let my couples know, be like, hey, if you go this route, this is what you're going to get out of your gallery after the wedding day and things like that. Versus like, hey, this is the route that you want to go to. You're going to get more of this kind of wedding day gallery and things like that. Um,
Awesome. When it comes to the timeline, we also have to consider maximizing the photographer's coverage or the amount of time the photographer is there. So, can you share with someone some tips about making sure that you're not paying for time where you're just getting the same people doing the same dance moves?
Yes. So I always love to say, like, I don't want you to have more coverage than you need, but I also want to make sure that you have enough coverage that you get all of your priority events throughout the day. So for the reception, for example, a lot of priority events that my couples love is the first dances, the cake cutting, the toast, the speeches, first dances with parents, maybe an anniversary dance, or just special events that go on during the day. If you have less amount of coverage, maybe 8 hours, and you're doing a lot of traveling throughout the day, then you're not going to have as much reception coverage. So I always like to make sure, like, hey, let's connect with the DJ, or who's ever in charge of the reception events at that time, and be like, hey, maybe let's move these important events during the entrances or something like that, and make sure that you get what you want the photographers to cover. If you want like an exit, then you want more coverage to cover your reception coverage towards the end of the night. And then one other thing I like to recommend, like if you want less coverage but you still want that exit kind of thing, you can do a faux exit and kind of like bring your immediate family and your bridal party out for a photo opportunity and get like a faux exit and then do the real exit later in the night. So it kind of depends, like what do you want your photographer to cover and what do you want your guest to cover via like cell phone coverage and stuff like that. So
Awesome. Well, I mean, when you talk about coverage, one of the things that you do is you have a second shooter at every one of your events. So it's almost like double coverage for that time period that you have. Can you talk about the importance of a second shooter at the wedding?
oh my gosh, yeah. So I love having a second photographer at every wedding that I do. And I think it's super important that all the photographers, that if you speak with a photographer, they should offer a second shooter. Especially if one bridal party member is getting married at or getting ready at one location versus another location. Like maybe say you have a bride getting ready at the venue, but your loved one is getting ready at a hotel nearby. You're gonna want two photographers to get those separate getting ready photos, because I can't be in two places at once. But a second shooter, they can get my second different views and different angles at different locations for me. And then same with the ceremony or the first look or like the vow readings. If you don't do a first look before the ceremony, they get different angles for me. So I can focus on partner number one and my second shooter can focus on partner number two. And we can just kind of get different angles, different wide shots, close-up shots throughout the day. And they're especially, I think, super helpful during the family photo combinations. That way, when we're doing the family combinations after the ceremony, they can help call whoever is on deck while I'm getting the current combination ready for the family combinations. So I think it's super important to have a second photographer. One, they help assist you, like they help see things, like I see the big picture, but they see the little things on the wedding day. Like the bridesmaids, like sometimes they'll like leave a hairband on their wrist, so they'll be like, oh, make sure you have that off. Or sometimes they'll notice like, oh, your groomsmen have cell phones in their pockets, make sure you get those out for the pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, I love having a second shooter, and I think they're the best thing to have on the wedding day. So because of that, all of my packages do include a second shooter.
Well, you have shared a lot of great information with us. I am going to put you center stage and have you share things directly to everyone. What are some tips on choosing your photographer for your wedding?
Hi, everybody. So I'm Cassidy with Cassidy Alane Photography, and I always think you should look at the big picture when looking at your wedding day. So especially when it comes to timeline, editing style, and personality, make sure you pick a photographer that you connect with the most and that you're going to love throughout the wedding day, because we are the ones that you stay with throughout most of the process during the wedding journey and even after the wedding journey. We are the ones that stay with you even after the wedding journey, because when your dance floor is emptied out and your dress is hung up, we are still there with you to give you your memories after the wedding day. So make sure you find someone that has that builds breathing room into your timeline, takes into consideration your traveling and all the small details. And all of that will make a difference in your photos. So my job is to make sure that you are stress-free as possible on the wedding day, because if you're stress-free on the wedding day, you're going to be stress-free in your photos, and you're going to look happy and super in love after the wedding day from 20 years down the road. So
All right. Well, thank you so much. Be happy and trust your photographer. That is the synopsis of everything we just talked about. And I think it's great to be in. You've been in the industry a very long time, and you've been doing fantastic work the entire time. So I appreciate you taking the time to share your expertise. And we'll see you at the wedding show.
yay, can't wait to be there.
Bye bye.